Hi, in this video I will show you how to install the Silver Essence framework on your local machine. You need a machine that is running the Windows operating system and you need the Internet Information Server enabled. So let's check if that is the case. So we go here to Programs and Features. And there we can check which Windows components are installed on this machine. Scroll down a little bit here and check if the Internet Information Server is enabled. And check with the World Wide Web Services if the application development features are enabled as well. This is where you enable ASP.NET within your Internet Information Server. Check the boxes you need for running the applications on this machine. For example, I have some classic ASP applications running on this server as well, so I have ASP checked here. It isn't necessary. For example, CGI, I don't use that anymore on this machine and I don't need it for Essence, so it's not checked in here. Check the ASP.NET components, and if you're not familiar with this, check with someone who has experience in setting up an Internet Information Server. Next thing you need to do is to create a folder where the application will be installed. I have created a folder here, C Apps Instance. You could also install in the default directory of your Internet Information Server, which is more secure because it's a protected folder. If you use it for a development machine, then don't do that because you will need administrator privileges to do things there. Okay, let's start the Internet Information Server Manager here. We expand the list here, and the first thing you need to do is to create an application pool. I have created a number of application pools on this machine already. If you don't have that or you want to create a new one, click here on the right. Give your application pool any name you like and select the .NET Framework 4.0 on this machine. The other settings you can leave them as they are. Click OK to save the application pool, but in this case I'm going to click Cancel because I already created the application pool I want. To go back to those settings here that I just entered, you can always go here to the right and click Basic Settings. These are the settings you provided just a minute ago. Click the Advanced Settings and we're going to change one thing here. You can leave all the settings as they are except this one, the application pool identity. This is the Windows account that will be used when the application is running. So click the button here on the right and select a custom account. We're not going to use the built-in system account. Click here and you can enter the username and password of a Windows user that has access to read, write on this machine. And if you want to deploy solutions on this server as well, make sure it also has access to the SQL Server running on this machine. So if this is a test or a development machine, best is to use a local administrator account here that has all those privileges. If you use another account, be sure that it has those privileges on this machine. So put in the username, put in the password and click OK to set the account for this application pool. We're going to leave it as is because I already put in the correct application pool identity here. When that is set, click the cancel button and we are going to move to the next step. Let's expand the folder tree here, and you can see there is always a default website underneath this Internet Information Server. You can add a new website, but for this we are going to use the simple way and we're going to add an application here. Give your application a name that you can remember, and on the right select the application pool that we created just a minute ago with the correct application pool identity and the correct .NET framework selected here. Click OK and enter the application path, which is the local file path to your installation. Here you can click Connect As to specify a different account which has read-write access on this directory. So if you use an application pool that has no rights on this folder, you can enable those rights here by specifying a different account. In this case, we're going to use the application pool account because that is already a local administrator here. So let's go to the application I already created and I called it Instance. Here on the right you can go to the basic settings and here you can see the same information and we can change it if we made a mistake there. Now let's go to Instance and we're going to do a few settings here. Double click the Authentication icon and enable anonymous authentication. Authentication will be handled by the Essence framework itself, so you can disable all the other authentication modes that are active on this server. Anonymous authentication is the only one you need to be enabled. Let's go back to the instance and double click Default Document. These are the default documents as provided by Internet Information Server, but we're going to add a new one and you can do that by clicking here on the right. And we're going to add index.aspx here. It will be on top of the list automatically, and this will be the default page if someone accesses this application. That's it for the Internet Information Server Manager. And as you can see in the folder, it created a web.config file. This is the file that is needed to run the application, and it was created by the Internet Information Server Manager. Next, we go to the Essence product block, which is at my.silveressence.net/product block, and click Download. Here you will find a short introduction, and it will tell you you will need an instance for this, and it will tell you to follow these instructions. Well, that's this movie. To create an instance, you will need a partner account, and you can create it in our partner portal. If you don't have that, contact us through support@silveressence.net and we will set you up with that. So let's download the installation files. and click Show in Folder here. And as you can see, it downloaded a small zip file with the installation files. Right click here and extract these files here. If you don't have WinRAR installed, you can of course use the Windows Explorer as well. Copy these files into your application directory here. And that's it. Then you are ready to go and do the real installation here. So let's minimize these windows and open up a new tab. And let's go to our local server. That's 127.0.0.1/ and then the name of your application. So in this case, I will use instance. And the silver updater will show here. 127.0.0.1 can also be called for using localhost. So localhost/instance will also bring me to this screen here. Okay, let's do the installation. We select the install mode here with the action, and this is where you will need the instance ID, instance number, and instance key as provided by us through your partner manager. I have the form fields here in memory from the last installation, so I can select them here. But again, if you don't have this information, contact your partner manager and he can set you up with this. Okay, you can enter an access code and you can think of anything. This is like a password you will need when updating the Essence framework on your server. So make sure it's something you can remember. Okay, if you want to deploy any solution on this server using a SQL Server database, you need to enter the name of that database server here. Okay, let's leave this checkbox with test mode checked and click the install button. The installation will now be done without the real installation itself. So you can use this to check if all the necessary steps can be performed without problems. Apparently that was the case, so I can open up the updater log here and you can see every step that was performed, and you can also see no files were actually extracted here. Okay, so click close here, and if you go to your install directory, you can see the updater log is also here in your root directory, and you can check later after the installation here. Okay, so let's make this a little smaller and this one too, so you can see what will happen. We uncheck the test mode checkbox and click the install button again. Again, the files will be downloaded, but now the files will be extracted to this local directory, and on the left you will see that the files are appearing here in your application directory. And once all the files are downloaded, unpacked and installed, you are ready to go. So all the files are visible here on the left, and as you can see with the updater, you can also check the update log here, and files were extracted here. So that's always, if you want to start troubleshooting, that's the first file you need to open and check for anything thing that went wrong. Okay. Once you have installed, you have a deploy a new portal button here. And if you click that button, the deployment wizard will be started. If you want to start developing on this machine, so you want to start editing, log on using your partner credentials here. So click the login button on the top right and log in using your username for your partner account. As you can see, you are now logged on to the editor using your partner account. So we're going to deploy a new portal here. We're going to call it solution 001. I put in my email address and I will make up a first username and I will give it a password here. I click to validate if this solution is not already in use because the solution name has to be unique. I click connect later, select the new solution and then hit the deployment button here. The solution is now created and I can start working on it right away. I can click this button and log on with the solution name /user. So that's solution 001 / solution 001. I enter the password associated with the user I created and let's click this one. This will bring up the editor, which is empty right now. Let's not save the password here. And from here I can go to the mapping and as you can see the database is created. I can start the database editor and I can start building my first solution on this machine.